Hey guys, Smexy Gaming here today. Today I want to bring you guys a Chaos Agent deck profile. I've been playing Agents ever since they were released, but after Earth went down to 1, I dropped the deck. And now with Earth back at 3, and with Tour Guide back at 3, and Chaos Sorcerer back at 2, I felt like this deck just got a huge boost from the ban list. And I used to play Chaos Agents back when Tour Guide was at 3, and I know how the deck functions, so even with the banning of Sangan, I still feel like this is a really strong deck, because now that Dragon Rulers have been sort of nullified, they've gotten weaker, and I still feel like Chaos Agents remain one of like the best monster engines this format. So without further ado, alright guys, first up we have 3 Earths. This is the tutor of the deck, and it gets you the next card, 3 Venus. So basically this card is the engine of the deck. It gets you out the 3 shine balls here, the threesome, yeah, as I like to call it, the 3 balls. They help you make a board presence, which without board presence in Agents, you're completely done. Next up we have the 3 boss monsters, Master Hyperion. The fact that this card is still at 3 is just, I love it. It's because you can top deck this card and just make a comeback when late game. So what a lot of people don't know about this card though is that it can banish an agent from either hand, field, or grave to special summon itself. And a lot of times I've had like a dead Earth when I've already searched my Venus and gotten its effect off, or I have a dead Venus, or even sometimes I special summon a Christia, get back an agent, and then later when they kill the Christia I can just special summon Hyperion by banishing an agent from my hand. And a lot of people are less aware of the fact that you can just banish from the hand, so it throws people off sometimes. Next up we have 3 Heralds of Orange Light. This is one of the best hand traps in the game by far. It has won me so many duels and just saved my butt so many times, because people would summon Fire Fist Bear or Wolf Bark and try to go off with a play, and I would have like 4 cards in hand, but you know, they'd usually expect like a Veiler or a Maxi, but the fact is Herald destroys it, so you don't have to worry about the threat. The only problem this card does not really work well against is Boojins, because now they have Hair. They can just chain Hair to Herald of Orange Light, because Herald of Orange Light is spell speed 2. It's like a Divine Wrath, but it's not spell speed 3. And when Boojins chain Hair, like, you just went minus, so it's really bad. Next up we have, yes, not 2, 3 Archlord Christia. The reason that I made Christia at 3, I mean, yeah, because of the ban list they moved it up to 3, but also the fact that when you play 3 Heralds in conjunction with 3 Christia, most likely when I draw into Christia, I will usually have it live, or if it's not live, I will discard it with Herald of Orange Light, or save it for another card that I'll show you guys later. But Christia at 3 has been working wonders for me. It's almost never dead. The 1 Honest, obviously. And 1 Thunder King Ryo. This card, I included in here because it's a light, but the fact is, this card is good against the entire meta, no matter what deck you're playing against. It's good against every single deck. And the fact is, I hate how this deck plays minimal back row, because if I summon Thunder King first turn with protection, like, a lot of games would be so much easier. But the fact is, I don't play back row, so sometimes when I just first turn summon it and just have like an empty back row, that's kind of easy to get rid of. Oh. Next up, my two other hand traps are Maxi. Agents, they rely heavily on normal summons, so sometimes when people, like other decks, like spam the field, you need sort of a way to like keep up, because if you can keep up without having to rely on normal summons, let's say you draw your Hyperions and such, you can banish your dead agents that you've drawn off of Maxi from your hand and then just make board presence from there. Because the fact is, you have to normal summon your Earth, normal summon your Venus, normal summon your Tour Guide, normal summon your Ryo, and that's a lot of normal summons. So although agents don't rely heavily on combos, the fact that they rely so much on normal summons makes the fact that Maxi, if you draw a bunch of cards with like a Hyperion or even a Christia, makes your hand that much better. Now for the chaos aspect of the deck, the 3 Tour Guide is a must. I don't play Night Assailant or Dark Mimic or whatever, Tour Bus. Those cards are just dead. Usually, for my last Tour Guide, if I ever draw into it, which I rarely do, draw into a dead Tour Guide, if I ever draw into it, I'll either wait till I have a Venus on boards and then summon it so I can go into a rank 3, or I usually just pitch it with Tragodia's effect and take my opponent's level 3, so it's normally not too big of an issue for me. I'd rather play the 3rd Tour Guide over dead cards such as Dark Mimic or Night Assailant. 1 Spirit Reaper. This card, I mean, it's good against certain matchups, and other matchups it's not really good against. But I like it because it just baits out like random back row. Like, I was playing a lot of duels where people would set 2 and pass, right? So it's normal summon this, and they just torrential, and I was happier with a Spirit Reaper getting torrential rather than summoning Venus and 3 Shine Balls and then getting torrential off that. So it's a pretty good card. I usually side out for better cards against other matchups in game 2 and 3. And then my other dark monsters are 2 Trags and a Goras. Trag and Goras I feel like are a must because of minimal back row, and Trag does a lot of work against just other decks out there. I've had so many situations where I've versed Dark Worlds and I drop a Trag, right? So then next turn I have a dead Christia in hand, and then I pitch the Christia for their Grapha, and they just scoop. So it's a really good card. And because Chaos Agents run a plethora of different level monsters, you can always make Trag like literally any level you want, and just take other people's monsters of any level you want, so it's a really good card. And for the last but not least, the Chaos Bosses. 2 Chaos Sorcerer and 1 BLS. And I mean, they just do what they gotta do. For the spells, 3 MSTs, 1 Book of Moon, 1 Dark Hole, and 1 Enemy Controller. And the weird tech of the day, 1 Trade-in. I really like this card because it mitigates your dead Christias and Hyperions in hand, and every time I've drawn it, it's live. Like, the ratio of 1 to 6 level 8 monsters is not really that consistent, but every time I've drawn Trade-in, for me, it's worked out. And 1 Treacherous Trap Hole, because it's my only trap in this deck. Alright guys, now into the extra deck. I play for my rank 2s, only 4 rank 2s, Gachi, Daigusto, Dark Mist, and Herald of Pure Light. That's really all you need. Uh, Gachi just helps you establish your board early game when you bring out Venus and the Shine Balls, and Daigusto enables OTKs. But you have to know when to use Daigusto. You don't want to bring him out for OTK and then just have him die to like a stronger card like Bear or something. And Dark Mist is just there for when you need it. I really don't bring it out that much, but I mean, it's a lot of resources because you have to have 3 level 2s. And usually I'd just rather go into something else with the 2 Shine Balls. And Herald of Orange Light is just there in the late game for when you need it to recycle a boss monster like BLS, Tour Guide, I mean not Tour Guide, BLS, Hyperion, or maybe like even an Honest. I play 5 rank 3s, and I'll go through them in order. First is Leviathan Dragon. I've been considering replace this card with Acid Golem due to the fact that skill drain hurts this deck a lot, and the fact that Leviathan Dragon really doesn't do much other than act as a beat stick. But I've played him for a while now because he's the only rank 3 that's just you can detach and then he'll just be a strong beat stick, and it fills up my grave with the appropriate dark or light that I need. So Leviair in this deck is a really good OTK enabler, and that's basically all you use it for. You bring back a Venus or an Earth, and then overlay it onto a dead Shine Ball or dead Maxi, and then make a Daigusto Phoenix and just OTK. And that's it. Mech-Quipped. This card is really interesting in this deck because even though the main purpose is to use it to protect your monsters, I don't think anybody has noticed, but this card is a fairy. Like, just helps a lot with fairy graveyard control. My other 2 is Tempo. I mean, that's pretty obvious, and Ghost Trick Alucard. Usually I open up with a Tour Guide or a Venus, right? So I summon Tour Guide and then bring out this card to bait out back row, because Venus, you don't want Venus just dying into like a Bottomless or a Torrential or something. So this card helps a lot just to get around the heavy back row. And then 1 Divine Dragon Felgrand because 2 Hyperions, or like a Hyperion and a Trag. I play 5 Synchros, which are all very basic. That all you need for this deck: Armory Arm, Catastor, Black Rose, Ancient, Sacred Wyvern, and Scrap Dragon. I don't play any rank 6s because there's no rank 4 in this deck that you can easily just tune with a Venus or tune with an Earth or something. So yeah, that basically sums up my Chaos Agent deck profile for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and at least learned something new about Yu-Gi-Oh! Or the Chaos Agent deck in general that you haven't known before.